What if I told you the secret to running faster, cycling longer, and just dramatically improving your health wasn't about pushing harder, but about slowing way, way down? I know, it sounds totally backward, right? But this whole idea is backed by some serious science, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
So, does this feel familiar at all? You're pushing hard in your workouts. Maybe you're all about HIIT classes or CrossFit, but instead of feeling energized, you just feel wiped out. Always pushing your body to its absolute limit, day in and day out, that's pretty much a one-way ticket to burnout.
So what if the answer isn't just another, even crazier, more intense workout? What if the real key to building incredible endurance and boosting your metabolic health is actually taking your foot off the gas? That's the really weird, counterintuitive idea we're going to dig into today.
And this, right here, brings us to what you could call the burnout paradox. I mean, the fitness world is constantly telling us more is more, right? More sweat, more pain, more intensity. But a lot of experts are now saying, hey, hold on a second. That constant high-gear effort can be super taxing, and there's a much smarter, more sustainable way to build a powerful aerobic engine.
And that solution, well, it's something called Zone 2 training. Maybe you've heard longevity gurus like Dr. Attia talking about it. The easiest way to think about it is conversational cardio, just a steady, comfortable pace that actually unlocks some pretty profound benefits inside your body.
Okay, so what is it exactly? Well, it's this very specific level of effort. It's kind of like the Goldilocks zone. You're working hard enough to make things happen, but it's easy enough that your body can just keep going for a long, long time, primarily by using fat for fuel. And you know the best part? The easiest way to find your Zone 2 doesn't require any fancy gadgets at all. It's just the good old talk test. Basically, you should be able to have a full conversation, but the person on the other end of the line would definitely know you're exercising. They'd hear a little bit of breathiness. If you can belt out your favorite song, you're going too easy. And if you can barely get a word out, yeah, you're going way too hard. Now, if you're more of a numbers person and you love your data, there's a really simple formula you can use to estimate this. Just take the number 220, subtract your age, and that gives you a rough max heart rate. Your Zone 2 is then going to be about 60 to 70% of that number. So, let's say you're 40. Your max heart rate is going to be around 180. That puts your Zone 2 range somewhere between, say, 108 and 126 beats per minute. Simple as that. Okay, so why? Why on earth does this slower training actually work? It seems so backward. Well, the secret is happening deep inside your body, at the cellular level. It's all about these tiny little power plants in your cells called mitochondria. And trust me, this is where the real magic happens. Okay, think of it like this. Your body has two main fuel tanks. You've got glucose, that's sugar, and you've got fat. Glucose is like jet fuel. It gives you that fast, explosive energy for things like sprinting or lifting something heavy. But it runs out really fast. Fat, on the other hand, is like a slow-burning log. It's a long-lasting fuel source. And here's the crazy part. Even the leanest person you know has a massive, almost bottomless supply of it. So Zone 2 training is basically like sending your mitochondria to boot camp. What it does is it specifically trains these little cellular engines to get really, really good at burning that fat for fuel. This steady, low-level stress signals your body to do two things: build more mitochondria and make the ones you already have way more powerful. You're literally upgrading your body's entire engine. All right, the science is super compelling, I get it. But how do we actually do this? How do we put it into practice? So let's map out a simple, weekly playbook that you can start using like tomorrow. Okay, the key thing to understand here is volume. This isn't like a quick 20-minute HIIT class. Zone 2 needs time to work its magic. Most experts say that to see real, noticeable benefits, you need a minimum dose of about 3 hours a week. And ideally, you want those sessions to be at least 45 minutes long. It's that sustained, steady effort that tells your body, hey, we need to make some of those mitochondrial upgrades.
So what does that actually look like in a week? Well, if you're a beginner, hey, 3 30-minute sessions a week is a fantastic place to start. That's great. As you get more comfortable with it, you can start building up towards that 3-hour goal, maybe with 4 45-minute sessions. The whole idea is just to be consistent and build up gradually.
And the really cool thing is, you've got a ton of options. Pretty much anything that can keep your heart rate steady in that zone is perfect. So, jogging, cycling, swimming, they're all fantastic choices. One that's getting super popular, and for good reason, is rucking. That's literally just walking with a weighted backpack. It's awesome because it gets your heart rate up without all the pounding and impact of running.
Now this is super important. Zone 2 is not supposed to be your only form of cardio. Not at all. It's the foundation. To build a truly complete and well-rounded fitness profile, we need to think about something called the 80-20 rule.
So that ideal split, and again, this is recommended by guys like Dr. Attia, is that a full 80% of your cardio time is spent in that easy, low-intensity zone 2. And then the other 20%, that's for the really high-intensity zone 5 stuff. We're talking all-out, can't breathe, maximal efforts. It's this combination that builds both that deep, all-day endurance and that top-end peak power when you need it.
You know, this pyramid analogy is probably my favorite way to think about all this. All that zone 2 work, that's the huge, wide, stable base of your fitness pyramid. It's the foundation that everything else rests on. And that high-intensity stuff, that's the sharp, pointy peak. But without that big, strong base, the peak has nothing to stand on. You just can't build a tall peak without a wide base.
Okay, let's talk about expectations, because this is so important. Zone 2 training is not a quick fix. It's just not. The workouts themselves might even feel kinda easy. And that's okay, because the real changes are happening slowly, steadily, under the surface. This is absolutely about playing the long game for your health.
So what can you actually expect to feel? Well, that first month is really just about getting into the rhythm and building the habit. But then, by month 2, you might start to notice something really cool. That same effort, that same pace, it starts to feel easier. Or maybe you'll notice your heart rate is actually a bit lower for the same amount of work. And then, after about 3 months of being consistent, that's when you'll likely see some really significant jumps in your overall endurance. And listen, the payoff for all that patience is just huge. You're not just getting better at running or cycling, you are fundamentally improving your metabolic health. You're teaching your body to be a fat-burning machine, and you're making it so you recover faster from all your workouts, even the hard ones. It really is a true foundation for lifelong fitness and a powerful, powerful tool for longevity.
So, at the end of the day, the real question isn't whether you can survive another brutal workout. It's, are you ready to try a smarter, more sustainable approach? Are you ready to slow down, to actually unlock your true potential?